No, I'm not talking about skibbity, but I am warning you. The stuff you consume in online fitness is literally the reason why you can't stick to a plan, why you always feel shit about your progress, and why you will never reach your goals. No, I'm not bullshitting you. I started watching online fitness a few years ago. I would be scrolling through fitness TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I was blasted with all of these shredded dudes. Nowadays, you got like Sam Sulek and Shizzy inspiring the class of 2026 to become as big as possible. You got all this new lifting content, memes, everyone sharing their PRs, and all of these influencers giving out advice. It's all cool, right? It's not. Every day, physiques that were thought to be impressive are do you even lift? Hell, even Jeff Nippert is considered small now. Your 225 bench press is now considered shit. You are too afraid of bulking so you won't make serious progress. And even worse is the rise of shitty or conflicting advice to beginners who aren't even able to tell the good from the bad. Do these secret exercises. Do tons of sets per week or you'll make no gains. If you're skinny fat, just recomp. You don't have to stay in the storm though. I will show you almost all of these common traps they have laid out for you, how to navigate and avoid the brain rot, and start making the progress you want with a clear mind, with additional free advice of course. After putting my head down and staying away from the bullshit, I have managed to build a physique I am proud of, and develop a burning passion for the gym regardless of the others. So in this video, here are a few main traps I will cover, everyone telling you not to bulk, all the gimmicky exercises promoted online, and physique and strength inflation. You probably have fallen for at least one of them, if not multiple of them at the same time, so don't let that be you, bro. Alright, let's just get this out of the way. So what is bulking? Bulking is simply just a dieting strategy where you eat 300 to 500 calories more than you burn per day in order to give your body the energy it needs to add muscle tissue. You will have to gain body fat, ideally at a 1-to-1 ratio of fat and muscle, but it will be the fastest muscle gains you can make. So how could something like this be fucked up by the online fitness space? First, you see lean dudes all the time, which warps your perception of body fat percentage and leanness, making you believe you're more fat than you actually are. Influencers showing failed bulks, yeah, discourages people from bulking improperly, but also from bulking altogether. If you are constantly shown lean physiques as being the most aesthetic, and then realize that bulking makes you gain fat, bulking almost seems stupid, right? Why would you want to gain fat if you want to look lean? There has to be another way, right? Recomping. Shit's promoted everywhere, which people will cling to because it sounds more appealing than bulking. Gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. Well, it is never, and I repeat, never gonna work for any serious amount of time unless you are literally morbidly obese. But at that point, you should just cut, like, bro. Lastly, going off the last point, influencers will just outright tell you not to bulk, you'll get fat, you'll hate your physique, etc. So then why do some influencers advocate against bulking? Those who are more experienced grow muscle slower, right? Which means they don't have to bulk as hard in order to make solid progress for their experience level. So what could end up happening is them going from eating too much for their experience level to eating just the right amount, and then telling others, including beginners, to really minimize their bulk when they really don't need to. Beginners are more sensitive to growth, so more of their extra calories will go to muscle growth. The best comparison I can think of for this is like an obese dude going up to the homeless dude on the street and then being like, yeah man, you shouldn't eat any of this street food, it's gonna make you fat. Like, no duh, it's gonna make you weight fatter, but this homeless dude is literally starving on the street, he needs this food. Secondly, they are trying to keep you small deliberately, so you mess up your diet, barely make any gains, and then come back to them for more guidance. It's simply marketing, and it works well thanks to how appealing not having to bulk sounds. Lastly, this is much rarer, but they don't fully understand how to bulk properly. They've had a nightmare bulking scenario where they gained all this fat and barely any muscle, so they frame bulking as only dirty bulking. So how does this fuck you up? Basically, it makes you paranoid of bulking. You feel fatter than you actually are, so you don't bulk. You'll think you'll become obese if you bulk, so you don't bulk, when bulking is literally what you need. This can even happen mid-bulk. You'll be 5 months into a proper bulk and then catch yourself at a shitty angle in the mirror after eating some food, so you'll look bloated, and then start going mentally insane and deciding to go on an emergency cut because you've gained too much fat. So what are you supposed to do? Well, you have to understand what bulking is not. It has nothing to do with your training plan, height, gender, etc. Those things will change things slightly, but they are not the big picture of what bulking actually is. It is not a fast pass to obesity land. Worst case scenario, you become fat jacked, and that's much better than skinny fat anyways. Ideally, you gain 2 to 4 pounds of body weight per week. Lastly, here are some actionable steps, bro. Trust the bulk. I was probably in the same boat as you when I was skinny fat, trying to cut all the time. I trusted the bulk, so you need to as well. Check your BMI using websites. If you are a normal weight, even the upper end of it, you are 9 times out of 10 just skinny/skinny fat and then need to bulk. Don't use bulking as an excuse to eat literally everything. Still focus on clean foods. I know some of you trying to follow the seafood diet where if you see food you literally eat it. That's how you end up dirty bulking and turning into the bloat god. Use junk foods, oils, or butters in order to help you reach a calorie surplus if you really struggle to in the first place. Remember, I'm not saying to overeat these things, but it can really help people with a lower appetite consume more calories. Alright, so let's move on. Have you ever seen those point of view you started to do your curls like this and got bigger arms types of videos? That's exactly what I'm talking about. They are these unique exercises promoted by influencers which are stated to have blown up one of their muscle groups. But there are 3 problems with this. These exercises are misleading. They lead you to believe that small tweaks like these can have way more of an impact than they actually do. Imagine you having a solid basic plan that actually worked, but then being brought this new useless information that suddenly has you overanalyzing your approach. It happens to so many people, including myself. I used to religiously do the rotate your hand curl, but then I stopped. Did it change anything? No, I just did regular curls and got my arms bigger. Lastly, it makes you have that fear of missing out. You want to try all of these unique exercises to maximize growth, when in reality it didn't really matter to begin with. For example, people with curls will try to train the short head, long head, brachialis, radiobrachialis all at once. I need dumbbell curls, barbell curls, hammer curls, etc. when they don't need to. Why are they promoted so often? It's simple. Those videos get views, are easy to make, all while making you look like an expert. Talking about the basics of training that beginners need to hear does get kind of stale, so new shit gets invented. Is it really all bad though? Nah, there are some actual solid form tweaks you can make to your exercises with genuine people sharing them. Here I have some notable examples for you. When you fail a set of hammer curls with both arms, lean forward and switch to alternating crossbody hammer curls. This allows you to go past failure. On hamstring curls, really control the eccentric and pause at the bottom to limit the use of your elasticity in your Achilles tendon, aiding the movement. On lateral raises, lean forward, raise the dumbbells out 45 degrees in front of you, and think of having your thumbs pointing above your pinkies. This maximizes tension on the mid-delts while minimizing injury risk. Notice how there's a clear logical reasoning behind every form tweak? They didn't just come out of thin air, they're there to solve problems. And that's one way to tell whether an exercise is actually gimmicky. So what can you do besides that? Well, there's no formula for it. You'd have to have a deeper understanding of biomechanics to debunk most of this stuff if you're a beginner, but here's a good rule of thumb though. If it strays away from the basic exercises and their basic execution too much, it's usually not worth the effort of worrying about. Examples of this include adjustments like changing your positioning mid-rep, like pausing the rep and rotating your hand mid-curl, equipment used in unconventional ways like curling plates instead of dumbbells, and using external equipment to worsen your balance, like Bosu balls. Alright, that's about all. Moving on. I think most of you know what inflation means, especially you motherfuckers in the US, but if you don't, it's simply the rate at which prices are increasing and money is losing its value. So if you had say $1,000 in the bank, but then all of a sudden everything got 2 times more expensive, then your money basically just lost 50% of its value. So then what is physique inflation? It's simply the increase in demands for people to have better physiques as more people are joining the fitness industry and becoming bigger and bigger, which is pretty cool, but it's also taking a toll, especially on impressionable people like teenagers. Steroid use under 20 years old is becoming more rampant, along with crippling body dysmorphia. It's like this fucking meme. People find the gym because they're insecure, and then end up becoming even more insecure because their taste just gets so warped. You know, a while back, Jeff Nippard was being questioned on his natural status on Reddit and shit, but nowadays he's referred to as the small science-based lifter, and that's insane. Why does it feel like everyone is bigger than you? The algorithm feeds you what gets the most traction. What gets the most traction is usually the craziest / best looking physiques. So that's exactly what's shown to you all the time. It happens in sports as well. You know the first fastest runner is Usain Bolt, right? But do you know the second fastest runner? Probably not. This is also why modern strength standards have become so skewed. It seems like everyone's hitting these crazy PRs and milestones while you're still just grinding it out. Oh yeah, bro, I hit a 600-pound squat and 315-pound bench at 15 years old, bro. Like damn, bro, can you even get steroids at 16 years old? So why is this so shit for you? Shouldn't it inspire you? Body dysmorphia. Yes, it's very well possible. This is the shit that will have you rechecking your arm measurements over and over to make sure you didn't lose size all of a sudden or some shit. It's cool being able to compete with people, but what seeing all this shit also creates is just way too high of expectations, to the point it becomes toxic. Take this dude for example. He's been lifting for a consistent 10 months and this is what he looks like. Because of physique inflation and unrealistic standards, he's getting bashed in the comments even though he's actually made good progress, especially for being a newcomer, by insecure people who are clueless on the realistic rate of progress. Then the same thing can happen with yourself. You stay consistent for 10 months but aren't satisfied with your progress because everyone else is making crazier transformations than you. So then you feel like absolute shit about your progress and contemplate quitting. So what do you need to do? You need to have more realistic expectations. You can make great gains and look like you live to the average person within 1 to 2 solid years of training and diet. However, it will take much more investment to look anywhere close to your favorite influencers, who by the way post their photos with the perfect perfect angle, perfect lighting, while they're pumped, and even Photoshop their pictures at times. Lastly, always have faith despite the progress. You always have to believe it's possible. And no, this section isn't some pussy shit to try to push mediocrity. This is to get you more appreciative of the progress you can make, and to accept how long this will take. You gotta enjoy the work, man, or at least be willing to sacrifice many years into this, and I wish you the best of luck on it. If you appreciate my outlook and advice, no problem, man. I'm glad to be helping you out. If you want more from me, like being able to talk to me directly, subscribe to my OnlyFans. I mean, only bars. Link is in the description. If you don't like the sound of that though, that's alright, man. You can always join the free community Discord. If you want further advice, I would recommend looking into how to properly bulk in case you happen to be skinny or skinny fat with this video right here. Subscribe.